Welcome to the Bearded Dangler. We're diving deep with the real people of search and rescue, sharing stories and advice.
Scotty Burnett, thank you very much. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Bearded Dangler.
Good to be here.
Even though you're not a dangler.
No, not really, no.
No, not really. But we've worked together, or did work together for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And I think that you're going to have a fantastic story of how you became a paramedic.
Well, I hope I meet the criteria.
You do, absolutely. You're going to have some funny stories, mate. It's like, this will be good. This will show people how, if you really want something, how you actually get into it, and the struggles of just keep going and going and going, and that never giving up attitude, which is the theme that seems to be coming out from a lot of people that I'm interviewing, is like, I really want to do this. I'm just going to keep going and going and going, and I don't care what anybody's saying. This is my goal, and I'm going to go. So, yeah. And I think that's, well, from what I know, that's definitely what you did.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know a lot of people when I interview them, and then halfway through, I'm like, I don't know half your story.
Yeah. I'll tell you my full story, don't worry.
Okay, so let's get started then. So how old are you, Scott?
So I am 48 years of age.
Live in Aberdeen?
Live in Aberdeen, born in Aberdeen, and have always been in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And have no interest in going anywhere else.
Love the North East, especially on a sunny day like today.
It makes all the difference.
It makes all the difference. That grey granite turns into a silvery sparkle, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And that's why we love it.
Yeah, it is. It is. So tell me about your background. Who's Scott? Where did you grow up? What did you do? Where did you go to school?
So I very much was brought up in this area from the West End. I started off my schooling at Broomhill Primary School, which is not that far away from here, and then moved into Harlow Academy, which is also not too far away from here. So this is my neck of the woods. This is where I was brought up. So I kind of know all the nooks and crannies of the area, shall we say.
The hidden little parks.
Yes, I've been there. Absolutely.
Yeah. So how was school? Primary good?
School was really good, yeah. I was far from the academic. So it was good days, but it was something of a struggle for me. But as I say, I wasn't academic. I wasn't the cleverest in the class. So school was a struggle with regards to, concentration, getting the work done, and
exams.
Sadly I didn't realise that it was that important till I was older.
Yeah.
And then you go back to, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd done this, I should have done that kind of thing.
You and me both, mate.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's life.
Academia was not my thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish when I was going through my paramedic course, I had tried harder at school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. And you think to yourself, would it have made it a lot easier? And I think it probably would have been with regards to the university side of things.
Yeah.
But I think, yes, it's easy to say that now, looking back there, I should have done that, I should have been like that.
It's the hindsight, isn't it?
It's life.
Yeah.
You live and learn.
You do. You do. So left school, and what did you like? What were your extracurricular and stuff? What did you like doing outside of school?
At school, I was pretty much obsessed by football and golf. That was kind of my thing. And then in secondary school, kind of started to get into music. So was learning the drums from secondary school, got into a few bands, learned the drums in the pipe band. So that was kind of the out of school things I did. But I think from early secondary school, first year, second year, I had my sights on being a paramedic and joining the ambulance service. I can't remember where it came from.
No.
But I just remember that's what I wanted to do. I think the only other kind of health relation in my family was my grandfather, who was a psychiatric nurse. And there's no other medical people in my family. So I think whether I've got my caring side from him.
You're caring?
Like, you have to be caring.
You have to be caring.
So I think that's where it came from. As I said, at school, that was my aim, but it was never the best for your qualifications. I remember going to my careers interview at the end of fourth year, and the guidance teacher said to me, what do you want to do for a job? And I was like, I want to be a paramedic. And he laughed. I remember him. He laughed. They went, seriously, what do you want to do? And I just thought, I'll mark your cards. I'll come back and tell you. I hope I get you as a patient one of these days.
But that's obviously where it kicked off from. Like, you're like, you tell me I can't do that. Like,
absolutely.
No, I'm doing it.
And I got that moment. Maybe it's a good 10 years ago, potentially, that I seen the said teacher at a function, and made sure I made a beeline for him, and he knew who I was straight away. And then asked him what I was doing for a living, but he couldn't remember the conversation. No. I was like, I don't remember saying that. I would never say that. And I'm like, I can assure you did, because it scarred me for life. I would prove you wrong, and here I am, I'm proving you wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
if you told me I couldn't be a footballer, I would have gone and done that.
He went from my life at school. He went from a hero to a zero at that point. I remember one of my first parents' interviews at secondary school, and he said to my parents, Scott isn't academic. You really need to get him to read more things. And he said to my dad, you should buy him pornographic magazines. He said, he'll read them. And I was like, did he actually just say that? No, for the record, my dad never bought me them magazines.
No, he never bought you them.
No, but yeah. So that, as I say, that was the same man that said, so what you need to do to get yourself better, and then shot me down a ball of flame. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, I had the same sort of experience at school. It's like my careers advisor, probably the same time as you. He said to me, like, I was really good at sport at school. I loved being outdoors. I was in the cadets, all that sort of stuff. And he was like, he says, what you need to be is a bricklayer. And all I wanted to do was join the RAF.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks very much.
Yeah.
Okie doke. No. I'm away. Yeah.
Tick box exercise. Right.
And I was the same again, like here at a zero.
Yeah.
For me, I was just like, I'm just not going to listen to anything you say anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that? So, left school.
So, left school, as I say, still had the intentions of joining the ambulance service. But back in those days, you had to be 21 before you could join the service, because they insisted on a bit of life experience, understandably. So I just thought to myself, well, what am I going to do for 3 years? So looked into any sort of like pre-ambulance kind of things you could do, and there wasn't really anything that fit the criteria.
Yeah, it's quite difficult by then.
Yeah, so went to Aberdeen College and studied care and healthcare for 2 years, which enabled me to get placements in hospital wards. So that kind of gave me a little bit of an insight how the medical profession worked and patient contact and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So did that and worked doing part-time jobs in supermarkets as a car valeter and stuff like that, just to try and tide the time over.
Yeah.
So I can get into the application stage of the ambulance service.
You still living at home at that time?
Yeah. So still living at home at that time. So started applying. I think it took me a couple of times to get in. Because, as I say, the academics of the things, that it was exams you had to sit before you got into the service.
Yeah, there was a pre-exam.
I'm sure there was an English test, a maths test, and I remember I failed the maths test the first time, and then thought, I'll go and get a maths tutor. Worked with a maths tutor, which was really difficult because the maths tutor was younger than me. But she really helped me go back over the basics, just to get them drilled into my head. And then,
and when you're a little bit older, and you've got an actual goal, to learn that stuff, you're like, well, yeah, this is what I want to do. It's easier to do.
Yeah. So passed the test. As I say, I passed everything at college because I think it's because I was wanting to learn. I knew this was going to benefit me in the long run. So learning everything from emergency first aid up to any sort of sociology, stuff like that. Everything kind of made sense, which was really, really strange from coming from out of school, that nothing really made sense to me because I was only interested in getting to the Friday and getting into the weekend.
Aye.
But going to college, not being stuck there every single day of the week with the same people, it was different tutors, different subjects. Yeah. And I think there was a light bulb moment thinking, this is where you need to go, this is what you need to do.
You're probably looked at as a little bit more of an adult as well. Like you're getting a little bit of responsibility. You're like, oh, right, this is actually on me now.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, what else am I going to do if we can't do this?
Yeah.
It's grow up stage, isn't it?
So I'm making the choice to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make the choice to make it work.
Yeah. Because your dad's at home going, right, if you don't get this, you're out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't work in hours of the rest of your days.
Right.
Yeah. There are other supermarkets available.
Yeah. Well, we know slapping our butts on it. Yeah, so that was to join the ambulance service, but to join it as...
so that was basically starting at the bottom, and the only way into the ambulance service back in those days was you had to start off in the patient transport service, and that was part-time shifts. So
that's where you were lucky enough to meet me.
And that's where we stumbled across one another.
On day one.
And the rest was history. That we joined exactly the same day. I think was it June the 15th? I think it was June the 15th, 2001.
Wow.
When we walked into our PTS training.
And that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Split shifts from... Was it 9 till 11:30, and then 3:30 till 6 or something like that?
Yeah, it was really difficult. It was like 5 hours a day, wasn't it? But for 5 days a week, but split into a weekend some of the time as well.
That's right. Yeah.
It was like for next to no money.
Oh yeah.
It was difficult. Yeah. Really difficult.
And it was so difficult to kind of juggle extra work and a second job because it was all split shifts.
Yeah.
So you didn't have much time in the middle, and there's always a chance of being overrun. So it was very, very difficult. Yeah,
what other employee is going to say, yeah, you can come in the middle part of the day and leave again, but if you turn up late, it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think they had that nugget of, this is people that want to go further in the service, so they will do it to get where they want to be.
Well, there was two types of people that were doing PTS, wasn't there? It was like us that joined and wanted to be paramedics and go down that emergency care route. And then it was like almost like a retirement job. It was like a day driver, a little bit of pocket money.
Yeah.
It was fine, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I know. Yeah, I remember getting the tour around the station, and I remember one of the old boys saying to us, I can see a good couple of paramedics standing there. And I was thinking, yes, I'm in. Yeah, he must know. He must know.
You've seen that glimmer of gold.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it was patient transport for a while. That was fun though.
Yeah, well, it was good days.
It was proper old school though when we joined the ambulance service.
It was,
It was completely different service.
It was very, very regimental. And the thing is, I think we were from that generation where you still had a lot of respect for your elders. So we knew we were entering somewhere that the age-old saying of the bear pit.
Yeah.
Where it was old school guys. They've been there, they've done it, they've seen it.
Yeah.
And we were just the young whippersnappers
that
they were. And if we were, it was a great way to learn, because if you did something wrong, you knew about it.
Yeah.
And then it was up to you to learn from that and move forward.
It was.
Yeah, no.
And the PTS side of it was like, it was your apprenticeship, wasn't it? Really?
A great way of saying it.
Learn how to drive, learn how to deal with patients, learn how to speak to people, learn how to enter people's houses and speak to family members, but also be working alongside and supporting the emergency service side of it at points, and being in that crew room and seeing what these guys were having to deal with at the time.
And also learning the city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a massive city we live in, and it's constantly growing. So getting a grip of all the nursing homes, the care homes, the sheltered housing kind of places, it was always going to benefit going forward.
Yeah, learning where all the speed bumps are and potholes and what route you don't want to go.
And don't go too fast over speed bumps with wheelchairs on board. Yeah,
that aren't tied down properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or drive too fast up to hospitals.
Yeah, or even reverse over them like one of our colleagues.
Or reversing the walls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, did somebody not get like something trapped between two bollards? Or two stone pillars reversing into a nursing home somewhere, I think.
No, that wasn't it. It was probably one of the most richest streets in Aberdeen.
That's where it was.
Yeah, it was. I still drive past that house shaking my head.
I know. It's not far from here where I go for a walk sometimes, and I'm like, I remember those pillars.
Yeah.
But just for the record, it wasn't me.
It was me. I think the best part of that job was having to lift the female out of the back of the ambulance, across our front garden, over our front dike to get her into somebody else's ambulance because our one was still stuck. Yeah.
But it's that thing, it's those experiences that teach you the skills that you need going forward.
You learn as long as you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Then that makes it the job so much easier going forward.
And own your mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you couldn't get away with that. Like, nobody could get away with that situation. But, like, you come back to the base, everybody has a laugh about it.
Yeah.
Your hands up, but you get better at driving.
I remember going to quite a serious stabbing, and I managed to lock the keys in the ambulance. So had to get another ambulance to come and support us and take the patient away. Now, for about 6 months after that job, I was getting random keys posted to my house. But it was banner. It was good fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every time I open it, I know what this is going to be. Another set of keys. Another set of keys. I don't know where they got the keys from, but there was just constant supply of keys being left sent to my home address.
But it builds your resilience.
Absolutely.
Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
You can't take a bit of banter.
Yeah.
And you're not going to fit in with that team mentality.
Yeah.
And working with different members, and it's a long 12-hour shift.
It can be, absolutely. Yeah.
And you need to get on. You're in a small ambulance for that.
Aye, without a dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, if you can't take the banter, you don't last very long.
No, absolutely. But as I say, it's changed days now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The banter levels now are nowhere near as what they used to be. But I think that's also another sign of the times with regards to ambulance and paramedicine, that back in our day, I think you were employed because you had that Jack the Lad kind of attitude where, like, you had that power to walk into a room that potentially has a horrific scene or a family that are really, really emotional, but you have been able to walk into that room and just change the atmosphere with a one-liner, with a laugh, with a wee smile, with a joke, and it instantly improves the situation for the family and for the patient.
Yeah.
And I think that's very much a different thing now, that when I see when new staff coming through, that they don't have that as much, because the service is very much more kind of pushing on the academic side of things to have the qualifications rather than have that Jack the Lad joker.
Well, it's like you said, it's that apprenticeship stage, isn't it, with the patient transport service, and it's like the emergency crews doing your interview over like 6 months, knowing if you're the sort of person that can handle those situations. So it's like, and you don't have that now. You don't have that apprenticeship stage. Your school, university, straight into the service.
Even like the likes of from your patient transport to your technician level, that was still a great learning thing. And I remember being a young technician and looking forward to working with fellow technicians or experienced technicians, rather than some of the paramedics.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's where you learned the actual job.
And it's all the stuff that you didn't have a bag full of tricks.
No.
You just had yourselves.
Exactly, yeah. Absolutely.
There was many a shift that there was just double techies that were going out.
Oh, yeah, and it happened a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of my probably worst jobs was with was with Simon.
Double tech.
A double tech crew. I think we'd both been on the road maybe about 3 months, and it's still to this day probably one of the worst jobs I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Want
to delve into that?
We can do that now if you want. Yeah.
Go for it.
So it was a young one of the industrial estates in the Bridge of Dawn, and there was a 3-ton pod fell off a crane and landed on a guy. Ripped his arm off and pretty much ripped his leg off. I remember first thing arriving on scene, it was on top of a container. So I was first up to him and knew instantly. I've only been in the job 3 months, so I didn't know that much. But when I seen this guy, I thought, he's in all of the trouble. So it was back to basics of, like, I knew our pain relief wasn't going to be enough for this guy. So banged on some high flow oxygen on him and was straight on the radio saying, listen, we're going to need a medical team here for assistance. And then I had a phone call from the A&E department to say, why do you think, going by experience, you need a medical team? And I'm like, I don't have an experience, but I'm telling you, we need help here. So I think it was bang on like changeover time, so there was nobody going about. So I think the night shift car had came on, and it was Marcus that came out, and he took one look at the guy and was straight on the phone saying, "We need a medical team here." And I thought, I've tried and they're not sending anybody, but I think he persevered and was straight on the phone to the A&E department, and we got a medical team out to assist us, you know. So the funny thing about that job was that was I think it was either a Monday or Tuesday night, and the guy that was injured, I actually met him on the Saturday, the 2 nights before.
Wow!
Because he knew my brother, and like I had no recollection until it came all out in the press that who he was, and I thought, and it was my brother had said to me, "That's who we met on Saturday night," and I was like, "Holy moly, I can't believe that."
Yeah, because you're in that situation there. You're just like, you're dealing with the casualty. It's like that there's a disconnect.
Yeah,
isn't it?
So he as I say, he's going strong to this day.
That's good.
Yeah, survived, and I think it's potentially because we did the basics right.
Yeah,
you know,
and early interventions, and you were there.
High flow oxygen, get the basics done properly.
Yeah,
so
good.
Yeah,
and you were obviously a techie at that point.
Yeah.
So let's jump back a little bit from that job. It's like you were obviously patient transport service. Like, how did you then get into wearing greens?
So had applied for, I think I did about 1.5 years patient transport.
Yeah, I think you had to do that, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was minimum a year, I think you had to do
before you could start applying, and then you had to sit your bridging exams. So that was very similar to the kind of exams you did when you came in.
Yeah.
So sat the bridging exams and passed, and then it was a case of waiting to apply for any sort of jobs that came up. I was very lucky that when I started, it was basically when the rapid response cars first came out in Aberdeen back in 2003, I think it was.
Okay.
So there was like a big influx of jobs in the city, because I wasn't that keen on moving away. Now, everyone said like the best thing to do is to move away from Aberdeen, get a technician job, and then come back to Aberdeen, transfer back in. But I just was a bit of a home bird.
Yeah,
you know,
I was never going to be.
Yeah, I didn't fancy moving away. So I, as I say, stuck with it, kept applying, and then was lucky enough to land one of the technician trainee posts.
Yeah.
So got the job. I think it was like 3 Blue Star patient transport staff went down to Burnett Castle with me on the, I think it was a 9-week course back then. I think it was.
No, it was a technician course, not 14 weeks.
No, it wasn't ever as long as that. No,
was it never long as that?
Like, I'm sure it was like, I think it was 2 weeks driving, 7 weeks ambulance aid, or potential maybe 10 and 12. Was it 12 weeks? I can't actually remember. It was all.
Did I do 14 weeks because I failed?
I don't know.
No, it was like, I can't even remember who I went down with. I didn't go down with you, did I?
No, so you went down. You went with Simon, did you not?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I went with Simon.
Yeah, so I went down with, I can't even remember their names, but one of them bailed after a week and thought, this is not for me. And then the second one failed at like week 4 or 5, I think it was.
Okay.
So I was last man standing, going down from Aberdeen myself. And it was very much a bigger pit of a place. It was Burnett Castle, you know. It was like,
wasn't it?
If the instructor said jump, you said how high, and you did exactly what you were told.
Yeah, it was almost like ex-military.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. I was like, if you didn't pass your exam on the Friday, you weren't coming back on the Monday.
On the Monday, yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
And there was always a night out on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Which made it even harder to pass your exams on a Friday morning.
And then a long drive back to Aberdeen.
And a long drive back up to Aberdeen once you sobered up. Yeah.
No, I was down with Simon and Nikki.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was it. That was the step into the A&E world.
Yeah, that was it. You got your greens and you were...
got the greens and then ready to learn.
Yeah.
You know, and as I said, I remember back in those days thinking, I think paramedics are overrated. I think everyone just needs to be technicians.
Really?
You know?
That's what we all thought.
Yeah, but then as you get further into your career, you start... I remember the moment that I thought I need to go and get my paramedic ticket. And it was like, went to this poor old woman who had fallen and she'd done both her hips. It was obvious fractures to both her hips, and she was in mortal agony. And then she tried to feed her Entonox.
Yeah.
it was just absolutely useless. I just thought, I need to, I've got to go and do this.
Yeah, you feel lost, don't you? You feel helpless and
Absolutely.
lost. And, like, and plus, at that point in time, paramedicine in Scotland hadn't been around for long.
No,
like
absolutely not.
10, 12 years maximum.
Yeah.
Because, like, John was still working in Aberdeen. He was like first paramedic. So,
yeah.
So it was still pretty new as a career front and for what we were doing. And the skill set that paramedics had at that time and what they were allowed to give even then, like, it was still pretty reserved.
Yeah. So then, as I say, struggled on with the technician and then tried and tried. I said, but by the time I was really keen and wanting to do it, that's when things started to go academic. And I just thought, maybe I've missed a boat here. I'm not going to manage it. Because they had, I think was it not called Module J or something like that? They took in that you had to do some sort of like educational essay.
Yeah,
on something.
That was after me though, wasn't it? Because
I think because you were still Barney.
I got the last course at Barney before I went to Strathclyde.
Yeah.
And then I didn't need to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I was very happy that I didn't have to do any of that stuff. But
so it was an absolute struggle for me that I just didn't cope with the academic side of things. I couldn't tell you what you need to write in an essay.
Yeah.
And I remember, thankfully, at the time, my wife was a teacher, so she was very academic. So everything I wrote, I got her to read over it, and she basically said, nope.
Big red F.
Kept going back and forward and back and forth, just to try to get so I was semi on the right track.
Yeah.
Of what was required. So managed to scrape through that. And then it was a case of just waiting for a paramedic course.
But it's that thing again, isn't it? It's like you struggled at school, but then you knew you always wanted to do it, so you went back and you did your maths test and you studied and you learned and you passed.
Yeah.
But then you have so much time out of academia again to get back into it and to do that hard, like essay writing stuff is very difficult.
Yeah. And weren't like trying to reference things when you've never referenced anything before. It's just an absolute minefield.
Yeah.
To get anyway. But whereas I think the children, the kids, the younger guys these days are used to that from coming from school because they're doing it at school and then going to university and doing it. So they know that
it's a different level. And a different style of teaching and and resources as well that they're exposed to.
Yeah. So that was very difficult,
but you passed.
Persevered, got through it. I think it was basically split into two. So you did like 5 weeks at the university to start with, and you came back and did so much stuff on like a workbook you worked on the road with and got your paramedic.
Was it Strathclyde?
No, it was GCU.
Okay.
Glasgow College. Yeah. And got signed off with everything, and you went back for the finals 5 weeks. And then came back on the road, and then that was you signed off and
eventually
signed up for handing over your money to the ACPC. You know, and that was
signing your life away. Yeah.
And that was
so what year was that then?
So I think it was 2018. I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I started my paramedic in 2016, and then actually qualified in 2018.
But you got it.
I got there in the end. Yeah.
Got
there in the end. I still to this day think to myself, how the earth did I manage to get a qualification like this?
Yeah.
You know, but it's if you persevere, if it's what you want to do, you'll find a way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it might not be a straight line, it might be a zigzag cross and then round a couple of loops, but you'll get there eventually.
As you'll see from other interviews in this podcast, is like everybody's had a winding path to get where they want. Everybody thinks that they're lucky and fortunate, but they're also like goal driven. And not taking our sights off that goal. It's like, and you did. You had that windy path. You had your difficulties, but you had that focus and you got there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Well done, man. Well done. It's not an easy game to get into, and probably more difficult to stay in.
Absolutely.
Than to get. Yeah.
But as I say, it's probably the best job in the world that anyone can say. You know, no 2 days are the same.
No, no two jobs.
You know what I mean? Every day is different, and having that opportunity to make a difference to people's lives is one of the most powerful things you can have.
Mm-hmm.
And the job satisfaction is unbelievable.
Yeah, and once you've got that paramedic ticket, like it opens other doors, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You can,
Yeah.
Like when we first became paramedics, there's very little things you could do with the paramedicine apart from being an ambulance service, unless you really thought out of the box and took some time off and went abroad or whatever. But now, like so many different opportunities within services.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
private and search and rescue and all that sort of stuff that you can get into.
Yeah,
but you have decided to stay in the Scottish Ambulance Service in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And what have you done with your career, like job, like posting wise? Like,
so obviously been on double crewed ambulances. I went on to the paramedic response units back of 2000, I think it was 2020, sorry. And been a reservist on the air ambulance as well. So had my
fixed wing air ambulance.
Fixed wing, yeah. So had my kind of hand in a few different pies, but then really settled down and enjoyed the solo working on the car. Very challenging in the fact that you've no backup. It's yourself. You make the decisions. You have these people in your care until you get backed up by an ambulance.
Yeah.
When the cars obviously started, or there was no kind of like the 3RU project, but when the 3RU project was introduced to Scotland, they were kind of added to the cars. So that's the 3 resuscitation unit. So basically you do a 2-day course where you do extra training in the management of cardiac arrests. So you become potentially a cardiac arrest specialist. And you have the mechanical devices on board. So initially we had the Autopulse, and now we've got the Lucas.
Right.
But as I say, very much opinions of others is that it's just the Lucas, and that's what they do. But it's not. It's all about the management of the whole situation.
Yeah.
Being able to take a step back and just run through that whole cardiac arrest protocol and make sure that patient is getting everything they need to get at the right times.
Yeah. So for people that aren't paramedics already listening to the podcast, it's like it's a very intense situation when you walk into cardiac arrest as an ambulance crew. Yeah. Where possibly a family situation has happened, and then you're getting brought into that scenario, and then you're doing CPR in front of family members, and it's quite a high stress environment, isn't it? And you get very insular into that casualty and your situation, what you're doing. So for a rapid response paramedic coming in and then taking over, it's something. It's difficult. You kind of forget that there's family watching. You're just so focused on on the patient and the crews that are working with the patient to make sure everything's going like clockwork. And let's be honest, how many cardiac arrests actually go to clockwork? You know what I mean? No.
They're a very difficult thing to manage. So having that 3RU training and experience is very beneficial for walking in a situation like that.
Yeah. I always say that the cardiac arrest protocols are very simple and easy to follow, and everybody knows them inside out. But that's the one scenario that always goes wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe not wrong. Wrong's the wrong word. But it never follows the algorithm as the algorithm is written.
Yeah. There's it's like going straight line.
Yeah. It changes.
Yeah.
So you'll get sideswiped halfway through. Something else will change.
Yeah.
Family member will come in, whatever. So to have that extra person just attend, step back, look at the scene, go, have you remembered this? Let's do this now. Let's intervene in this.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah. And every crew needs that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to have that, as I said, to have that overall global view of the whole situation. I think it's very important towards the patient outcome.
Yeah, and it's changed days as well, isn't it? Because we used to like turn up a car arrest and you were like, grab them, throw them in the back of the ambulance, let's do everything in the ambulance and let's go.
Yeah.
Whereas ambulance, like, well, you probably speak better about this than me because I've been out of it for so long, but it's maybe not the case anymore.
No, absolutely. Yeah, they very much kind of portray the fact that they want to kind of, the unofficial term is stay in play.
Yeah.
You know,
rather than
load and go.
Yeah.
You know, but I think there's lots of evidence based that say that, you know, if you stay, the patient's going to get more treatment or better outcomes. whereas that changes slightly with regards to our mechanical CPR devices, that enables us to move if needs be. But yeah, no, I think
it's more about bringing the care to the patient on scene, isn't it, rather than like taking the patient to the care,
to the hospital. Yeah, and you've got to think of what difference is the hospital going to do? What different things does the hospital do that we can't do at scene?
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to basic management of a cardiac arrest, it's your 4Hs and your 4Ts. The hospital are still going to work at that. Yes, they've got different tools to add to that, but if you're doing the basics right, then there's not much else you can do for that patient, you know?
Yeah. And they're in a difficult environment at that point as well, isn't it? It's like, do the basics well.
Yeah, it's making the right decisions at the right times.
It is. But then you move into like my field in search and rescue, where you are that paramedic and you're on a boat in the middle of nowhere and your flying ambulances running out of fuel.
Yeah.
You're like, your decision making is completely different. It is load and go and I'll do something en route.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's that balance. But that's where clinical decision making and learned experiences come in.
Yeah.
Later in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you've done the rapid response car and
so
what else?
Still doing that rapid response in Aberdeen. With kind of less clinical things, I've also been part of the Safe Drive Stay Alive show.
That was epic when that got launched.
Yeah, so just with regards to the amount of young injured and young deaths across Grampian, they pushed this Safe Drive Stay Alive show, which had the children from a certain age coming into the room, where they had the party environment, the disco, the music, they're up dancing, then they were instantly sat down and they seen quite a graphic road traffic collision. And then they seen the police arriving, and then they would hear from a police officer to see what they would do at the scene. They would then see the ambulance service arriving, treating the casualties, and then they would hear from us, give our side of the story, where we talked about what we would do at the scene of an RTC, a road traffic collision. And then we give an example of an RTC that we've been to that has affected us or kind of stays with us. I speak about an RTC that I was involved with a young female who was basically trapped in her vehicle, and the only way we could get her out was basically amputating her foot. So she had her foot amputated at scene to get out of the car. And she should survive that day. So I still drive past that collision spot every single day on my way home. I still remember everything about that day, you know, the sights, the smells, everything.
And you will forevermore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was a really good project to be involved in. And I've been involved in like ambulance service football teams representing the service. So yeah, I've been very lucky in my career with the people I've met and the things I've done.
You had an ambulance service band.
We did have an ambulance service band, yeah, we did. The Fits, I think we were called. The Fits. There was, I think, we were on the go for a few years, but because of like staff turning around and people moving on, it was, I think there was probably 14 people in the van eventually.
Yeah.
With people coming and going.
And you never got signed?
Never got signed. Still don't understand that, to be honest with you.
Their loss.
Absolutely. Maybe just a bit too early, because we could have done a Britain's Got Talent or something like that now, you know?
Before your time.
Yeah, that's a good problem. But the ambulance service have just started up. They've just started up their ambulance pipe band again.
Okay.
So I've put my name down for that. So we'll see what comes of that.
So you still playing?
Yeah, I still try and keep my hands busy with the sticks, you know. But it's just finding time to do it, you know.
Time, yeah. Family, kids.
So, yeah, absolutely. Life moves on. Yeah.
Shifts. Yeah. Okay. Right. So you've been team leader as well, though, haven't you?
Yeah. So was a team leader for 5 years. 5 years, I think it was. Which included like basically 40% time in the office doing like the kind of management roles. So kind of when I first applied for that role, I was really quite keen on the old, on the command structures. So, you know, your Jessups and all that kind of stuff. So started off with the basic, like in the olden days, it was bronze, silver and gold commanders.
Yeah.
And also now operational, tactical and strategic. So I've done basically right up to my tactical level. I've done my Jessups course, which I really, really enjoyed. And I was very lucky to be officer for the Pittodrie Stadium. So any home games, I was officer in charge of the crew and everything medical that went on at every home game. So that was really good experience working alongside like security staff, police at the big events and big games.
Yeah.
The medical teams from the football teams as well. So that was a really good experience. But obviously that's kind of dwindled away now. It has to be a certain level of manager.
Okay.
So the team just couldn't do it anymore. It had to be an area service manager level. So kind of just had a step back from that and kind of, I'll say I still get to command jobs if I'm first on scene, and I'll take that commander role until relieved by an area service manager or something like that. But had some pretty big jobs to be manager of and scene commanders of. First on scene at a 19 vehicle RTC on the A90, which was a nippy bum drive, let's say, heading south of the city, knowing I was going to that.
Yeah.
But thankfully it didn't turn out to be as bad as what it sounded like when we first got the information through.
It's great, isn't it? It's like you build that picture in your head all the way to the scene and you get there and you're like,
that's actually okay. It's not bad here. I think
or what we think is not bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a worst day in some people's life.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that we forget that as paramedics. Or not like in the ambulance service, but as paramedics, you forget that sometimes because it just becomes a norm.
Yeah. And I think you do become a bit immune to it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you debrief at home, telling like what you've been through, and they're like, the folks' faces just absolutely drops. You're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, oh, I never thought so. It's just,
I forgot you've not grown up with all that gore and exposure to stuff that we have. You know?
Yeah, the thing is, it's like they talk about the stories of like the old granny that's been on the floor for 12 hours, you know, and you think that's something that's more horrific than someone having something amputated.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like,
the distress for that period of time must be horrendous.
It's horrendous. Yeah,
it's horrible.
And we're seeing it more and more now with regards to ambulance waits. You know, that people are waiting longer for ambulances to become more sicker. And then when we actually get to them, they're proper sick.
Yeah.
You know, if we got to them like when they first phoned, then
different outcome.
It'd be a different outcome. You know.
Yeah.
I think the longest working on the cars, the longest I've had to wait in somebody's house was 6 hours and 8 minutes waiting for backup. You know what I mean? It's a long time. That's a lot of small talk.
And you're pretty good at the small talk.
I know, yeah. I can, absolutely. But yeah, thankfully it was a nice house and I was happy to sit down in the seats. Some of the houses you go into, you wouldn't be wanting to sit down.
Yeah.
You know?
Some houses you walk into, you wipe your feet on the way in or the way out.
That's right.
Yeah, and you decide which one is which.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably the longest wait I've had. But as I say, it was a fantastic family and they were totally understanding of the pressures of the service we're under.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like you take that onus upon yourself, don't you? That is your responsibility, but it's completely out of your hands. And
absolutely, yeah.
And it's like, how is that going to change anytime soon?
No.
Who knows?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you know, the control room are on to you saying, listen, do you want to upgrade this call? And you're like, I can't justify upgrading this call because if I upgrade this call, there might be somebody that actually needs a more serious ambulance call. So that's the other pressure as well. You've got to weigh up what's going to be the best in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know?
You've got your roles and responsibilities as paramedics, but call takers and handlers have got their pressures and their responsibilities.
Yeah.
Ambulance services have got their own. Private ambulance services and SAR have got their own. It's such a movable feast on how this is all coordinated and moved forward.
Absolutely.
I think everybody tries their best at the end of the day, but it's changed days since COVID. There's a big instigator about all this.
Yeah. And I mean, who would have thought would have had to work through a global pandemic? You know what I mean? I remember learning about that in my patient transport training course. Thinking about going, and that was, that's never going to happen. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
Like, we need to learn that. But,
like 9/11 happened when we were PTS.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's just scary how much like the world has changed since back in those days.
Yeah, and how everyone's operated. It's absolutely. So, where do you see your career going from now? Then, you got any aspirations?
You know, I think I'm at quite a good point where I'm just happy with working in the car, going out, doing my shift, meeting the people I meet, dealing with the people I deal with, and then coming home at the end of the shift and then just going home and relaxing and chill out.
Yeah.
You know? I'm happy with that just now. Whether that changes in the next few years, I don't know. I'll see what happens.
You don't fancy putting a suit and tie on and sitting in an office?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't know if I was ever built for office work.
Yeah.
I struggled with that with the team leader stuff. You know, there's only so much, like, as I say, all boils down to the academics of things. IT, hopeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Absolutely hopeless with computers and stuff like that. So I was constantly on my colleagues asking, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you work your spreadsheet? No, it's just...
It's a different career path, isn't it? It's like people that are made for that. Yeah, they have a different upbringing, I think.
There's somebody for every role, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just as well.
Yeah. Just as well. Otherwise, we would not be where we are.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there's a few more questions I've got.
Yeah.
But we're getting close to the end. If anybody like we've spoken about a few jobs in your career so far, but if anybody speaks to you and says, right, Scotty, tell me about what it's like to be a paramedic. What's that one job that like pops at the front of your head that you can describe your job as?
As I say, I wouldn't say there was one specific job. I had a great moment literally only a few months ago when I was filling up the car, the 3RU, with diesel at the garage, and a lady came over to me and she went, "Are you Scott?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she went, "Can I introduce you to somebody?" And I thought, who's this going to be?
You're all right. I've got a girlfriend.
I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And she took me down the side of her car and opened the door, and a young lassie stepped out, and she was, I can't remember her name, but she went, "This is my daughter. You delivered her 16 years ago." And I was like, wow. It was, I was speechless. I was like, I honestly don't know what to say. She just said it was along the road outside the Kippy Lodge. And I was like, I remember it to the day, because I remember it was the cord was around the baby's neck.
Okay.
And I think I was probably the closest I've ever been to passing out on a job, because it took me ages to try and get the cord free, the head free for the baby to be delivered. And I remember the baby was born, and I felt that hot, cold sweat coming across me. I thought, oh no, see if I pass out here, this is going to be so embarrassing. I remember imagining it to be, I was on the floor anyway, and got the baby on the mum's chest, and then sat down and just thought, the baby's all right, the mum's all right. Thank goodness for that.
That adrenaline drop.
Yeah, so it took me right back when she said who she was, where it had happened, and I just remembered everything about that. You know, I was just like, it's so nice to meet you, and so good to see that you've grown up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just such a surreal moment.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I can't wait to go and tell people this has just happened to me.
Yeah.
So that was like, it was like 16 or 18 years difference. It was just,
that's brilliant,
remarkable.
Isn't it? Yeah.
You know, that she remembered me from that.
And then you're like, God, I feel old.
Yeah, I guess she said it was basically, she'd recognised me from the Paramedics on Scene TV programme that I did, and she said she'd said to her daughter, that was the guy, it was the paramedic delivered you, and that's where it all came from. That it sprung up. So.
She must have been so happy when she drove into that petrol station that day.
To see
oh my God,
that's amazing. Yeah, so that was that. I mean, I tell people now that.
That's a good side of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. But there's some horrible situations.
Some horrible situations where you see, like, as I say, people who have been lying in floors for hours and days and stays, and they've got like urine burns in their legs and horrendous wounds and stuff like it. It's just, you get a lump in your throat trying to speak to them, because you just know they must be in absolutely horrendous pain, and to be at home alone like that, it's just absolutely devastating for them.
It is.
You know,
it is. As a road paramedic, you go to the extremes of life, don't you? You go to those horrible situations where people are in the worst day of their life, maybe not in the best of areas. And then the next job, you're in a multi-million-pound house dealing with a completely different situation.
Getting your ambulance wedged between two granite pillars.
Spots.
No. It's as I say, that's the best thing about it. It's never the same day twice, and never the same job twice. Because as I say, you meet the best of people, you meet the worst of people. You know, we face some pretty horrific aggression sometimes, you know.
Yeah, we're not going to skirt around that. Like,
Yeah.
it's some of the abuse that paramedics get,
Absolutely.
ambulance crews get.
And
Yes.
like I feel sorry sometimes for like some of the younger staff, you know, with very little life experience coming out, and then they're getting put into these places and situations where they've never been anything like that in their life before, you know. It's a it's a fast learning curve for these kind of people.
Yeah.
To kind of get to grips and have their own kind of safety. That's one thing I'm very much aware of, because I worked myself for so long, that my safety is far more important than anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes, you know, all the terminology changes, but it goes back to the basics of like crew patient safety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, that's the first thing I think of.
Yeah, I think your risk level when you're younger and less experienced is way higher.
Yeah.
Like, you will put yourself in situations that we would think 10 times about before stepping into it.
Exactly.
But it's like, it just flashed a story in my head. It's just flashed. It's like, I remember I was still quite new as a paramedic when it was me and somebody else, and we got called to like a nightclub at 1 o'clock in the morning. Somebody on the dance floor passed out, and the music was still going, the lights were still on, everybody's still dancing away.
Yeah.
And my decision in that point in time was like, I don't know what's happening with this patient. I need to deal with them where they are. So I got security guards to turn the music off, turn the lights off, and clear the dance floor.
Yeah.
Now imagine somebody like a new paramedic walking into that situation. Like, you just wouldn't. Like, some of these new paramedics maybe haven't even been at those nightclubs at 1 o'clock in the morning on their off time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's the thing. You think going into a situation like that, you don't know what you're going to be facing. No. You don't know what's behind you. You don't know who's in that nightclub.
You can't hear anything. You can't think. Yeah.
Yeah. And even I remember going to one of the bingo halls on King Street for one of the bingo callers that had collapsed. You know, I remember being on stage and getting heckled from the old wifeys in the crowd saying, "Come on, hurry up, get another caller on. And I'm like, this wifey's no real. I'm making a rush myself to get, just so you can carry on your game of bingo. You know?
You disappoint me. Like, I thought you would have stood up and started calling it out.
2 and 4, 24.
Oh, ball.
Yeah. I'm mad for the bingo now, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I love bingo.
Love the bingo. different bingo halls from when we used to go, though. You had to, like, cut the air to get into this place. You would just stink when you go out, when you smoke.
Uniform was pickled.
Oh, it was horrid.
I know.
Yeah. Right. Okay, 2 more questions and we're done.
Cool.
First one. If you'd pass on any information, any nuggets of like skills that you've learned over the years to pass on to future paramedics wanting to get into the service, what would you say?
I think set your goals to a reasonable standard so that you don't overstress yourself and overwork yourself to try and get your goals. You'll get there, but it just takes time. Don't rush yourself. Don't put yourself in the position of where you're stressed to the max. You've got no life. You've got to have a good work-life balance. Have that ability to take a step back if you need to. With regards to patients, and the best advice I can give anyone with regards to speaking to patients is just get down to their level. You know, get down to their level. Don't stand and talk down to people. Get down, kneel down. If the carpet's minging, kneel down in the minging carpet. You can go and change your uniform afterwards. You know what I mean? It means nothing to you to change your pair of trousers. Go down to their level, kneel in whatever you need to kneel in, and speak to them, make them feel safe and secure with you beside them, knowing that you're going to make a difference to them and you're going to help them.
Yeah. It's like you're saying, get down to their level. It's also speaking to them on their terms as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, make them feel important.
Yeah.
Like, they've wanted you to come and help them today. Like, give them that time and attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with asking them what they want you to do to help them. You know, it's not you to make the decision. If you can help them, yes. But if there's something you can do to make their day better, then do it.
Yeah.
Whether it's making somebody a cup of tea, make somebody a cup of tea.
To just go and make.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
You might be the only person
Yeah.
who's spoken to all month.
Exactly. Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an absolute nugget.
Yeah, it is. There's some lonely people out there.
Yeah.
And that's all they're wanting is a phone call and a face to speak to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's half your time taken up. And if you to suggest anybody that I could get onto the podcast and interview that you think has got an interesting story on how they became a paramedic, or somebody that's got lots of funny stories, who would you suggest? Or multiples?
I would go proper old school, like speak to some characters from this afternoon potentially. People like Gus Breakin, proper old school paramedics that have retired for years. They've been there, they've done that. There's nothing they haven't seen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The stories you get will be phenomenal.
Yeah, they probably want to hold back on some of their stories.
No, exactly. They're not employed anymore, so they can let their hair down.
Imagine our book.
Yeah, I know. It would be crazy.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We will work on some names and see who we can get. Yeah,
absolutely.
That'd be good.
That's the way forward.
Scott, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure, mate.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good. Cheers.